Hey, welcome back, everybody. Sarcasm Speaks, Jared and Bob here. Before we get into yet even more politicking, you're in a new room. You're in a
Yeah,
different space.
so uh my normal setup's down in the basement
Yep.
and we are having the place painted. Now, we didn't move the shit in the basement room, so
Right.
I assumed, like anyone, the painter would say like, "Hey, we're gonna hit the basement tomorrow. Could you like move the stuff?" Yep, no problem.
Yeah.
Well, it turns out they just moved it all into the middle and they just fucking did it this morning. So
Okay.
that wouldn't have changed. That honestly, that wouldn't have changed much because I
Yeah.
still like the computer. Like I wasn't gonna move the computer to like
Right.
somewhere else. Um, but yeah, I didn't know that until like 4 o'clock, 4:45. Whenever Michaela told me, because not for. I'm like that was my other thing. I'm like I feel a little bad because like I was using downstairs as like a living room when they were up here.
Right.
So it's like they moved the couch, the TV stand, Leo's bowls. Like the room was like kind
Right.
of like, I mean, all the shit was off the walls and shit was off the floor, but like the room was like set up.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm back to her laptop. Um, I am at the dining room table.
Very nice.
Couldn't figure out the microphone for a minute, but I think we're here. I think we're good.
Yeah. Yeah. We got it all situated.
Different ambiance.
Yeah.
Not quite hostage video, but it's not a hostage video either.
Yeah. That's a good point. That I didn't even think of it like that. Or one of those if you shifted, I think, forward a little bit, it would be like one of those like when they block out someone's face, right, for their protect their identity.
Yeah. Well, the thing too is it's like, listen, I'm no fucking AV expert, but I know that the fucking light isn't supposed to be like, I don't know, 8 inches in front of me and directly above.
Yeah. Yeah,
But,
probably not.
you know, pros play hurts, so here we are.
Yeah, this is what we do. This is we're dedicated. We're
Just
dedicated to,
overcoming adversity
yeah.
every day.
Do hard things, right? You
Yeah,
gotta
yeah, we are doing hard things right now.
yeah,
One of,
you gotta
because you know how much I love those do hard things people.
this is what
Fucking
we gotta do.
assholes.
We persevere.
Yeah, life presents you with challenges. It's your job to overcome them.
Oh man. Um, well, that being said, speaking of doing hard things, um,
Reading Twitter is a fucking hard thing these days.
reading Twitter is a very hard thing these days. So we talked about because
Stupid.
by the time we recorded on Sunday night, Biden had already announced that he dropped out. But now that it's Tuesday for us, and I know we might be sticking our collective feet in our mouths, because this doesn't come out until Thursday, and maybe something will change. But um, still, nothing. It's complete radio silence from the president himself. Um, so I've seen a lot of shit, right?
Well, I was
Obviously.
gonna say, so literally he made a phone call, right?
Yep.
And there was some video of him getting off the plane. Is that what I saw? Or is that what people were talking about?
I haven't seen video.
All right, I thought I saw something. But again, this is like it's all a fucking cesspool right now. Like
Yeah.
anyway.
So from as far as I know, right? The information that I know, um, I guess we'll do the same thing we did before. We'll start with the facts, right? And then we'll have some fun. Um, the facts are the last time someone physically saw Joe Biden was last week in Las Vegas. Um, he then flew back home to either Delaware or Washington, D.C., one of those places, but he flew back across the country. He left Vegas. That was by like the end of last week. Sunday, there was a letter that was posted on Twitter that was all signs pointed to was written by Joe Biden, right? It was not on official White House presidential letterhead. Um, the signature on it did not appear to match the signature that is on literally every other piece of anything that Biden has ever signed. It was posted on Twitter, right? There was no press release through MSNBC or CNN or any of that. It was put up on Twitter. And no one has heard or seen from him since. So I'm sorry. And if you live under a fucking rock, the letter had to do with him dropping out the race, right? And we also talked about that on Sunday. So if this is your first time listening to us, welcome. But go back and listen to Sunday's episode. So no one has seen or heard from him since he posted that letter on Twitter. So
Yeah. So now he's dead.
yeah, so those are the facts, right? Now let's have some fun. There are rumors that while Biden was in Vegas, he had some sort of medical event, right? A serious medical event that forced him to fly back home, right? Or they flew to a military hospital, I believe, first, right? And then he went home. Now, what that was, I don't know, right? Some people are saying it was a stroke. Some people are saying there's certain things because there's been the rumors that he potentially has Parkinson's. There's been some people that talking about there's like events that can happen to people that have Parkinson's, right? Whether it's some sort of neurological event or stroke like or seizure like or something, right? It's related to Parkinson's. Could have been that, right? There's some people talking about that. He gets flown to a military hospital, then goes home. And then magically on Sunday, this letter pops up that's not on official White House letterhead or presidential seal, nothing. And it, by all signs, again, this is speculation. Well, it's somewhat speculation, but it is also a fact, right? It's speculating on a fact, which the fact is the signature doesn't match or look anything like any other signature that he's ever put out there, right? So, I mean, take that for what it's worth. I've seen some people say the reason why, and this kind of makes sense, the reason why the letter wasn't on White House letterhead was because he's not announcing that he was leaving the office. He was just announcing that he wasn't going to run for reelection. And if it was on White House letterhead, there would be like the assumption maybe that he's going to step down as the president also. Which that makes sense, right? That kind of makes sense to me. However, given all of the other rumors and conspiracies and the facts that no one has seen him, kind of makes me think something's going on, right? And a lot of people immediately, like you just said, they go, "Huh, he's probably dead." So
Oh no, he's definitely dead.
yeah, no, 100%,
That's
without a
what
shadow of a doubt.
Twitter told me. He's definitely dead.
Yeah, he's dead. He could be, right?
Actually, he's been dead for a while. Body double.
Yeah, just like Avril Lavigne.
Yeah.
I mean, if they did it with Avril Lavigne, they could definitely do it with the president. So
right.
um so yeah, I mean, it's certainly weird. If nothing else, it's really, really strange. Like you can't deny that, right? Like obviously you can make a very obvious case, right, to deny that he's not dead. Like he could still be alive, right? But like no one that has a normal functioning brain, right, that doesn't have some sort of mental disorder, can sit there and say this isn't weird. No, it's not weird at all. Oh, you're a fucking dumbass.
Well, that's the thing, right? So because if you look at certain people go, well, oh, he's definitely dead. And other people are like, no, he's not dead. Like, obviously he's fine. Like, what's the issue? And it's like, well, the issue is the American citizens have a lot of questions and no one's answering them.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I'm at on this one because I don't care. This is the thing. Like, I don't care if he's dead. I don't care if he's on a hospital bed. I don't give a fuck if he's had a stroke or an ischemic, whatever the fuck. I saw that too. I don't even know what
Yeah.
that means. And it's like he could be in
Lack of
hospice.
oxygen.
Someone said he could be in hospice, and it's like, okay, so the what's the ifs, the hows, they really don't matter, right?
Right.
Is the dude hospitalized or not?
Right.
And if yes, what is he hospitalized with? And if no, well, why hasn't he made a public appearance? Dude, it's like it could be as simple as like, listen, he's not healthy right now. He's not going out in public. Okay,
Yeah.
fine. Like we're just waiting to see if he can kick it. Okay. I'm good. There's an entire government that can run without this one guy.
Yeah. It barely functions anyway.
Yeah, ideally it won't function.
Right.
Actually, the only time is like when they start doing shit is when things get weird.
That's when you raise an eyebrow, when they all start agreeing with each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, because that's a thing. It's like now everyone's like digging their heels into their side again. And
Oh,
I'm like, this
strange.
is just fucking insufferable.
Yeah.
But I will say the incorrect way to handle it is to not say anything, which is currently what's going on.
Right.
So,
There's multiple different ways they could have handled it. And for sure, the incorrect way is to say nothing,
so
which
I know
is
I'm
exactly
asking
what they're
for,
doing.
so I'm asking for entirely too much with this one. Like, I know, like, there's no way that this could ever happen. And I know it's not going to, but like, starting with the truth would be nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then, and this is like the other thing too. It's almost like it's almost like insulting to look at it and go, well, you don't want the leader of your country looking like weak and feeble.
Have you
Bro, the
have you been
fucking
watching the
czar.
last four
I was
years?
gonna say the czar of China can watch a press conference and go, that dude's weak and feeble.
Yeah. Yeah.
And fucking Putin can sit there like probably smoking a cigar, drinking some vodka, going, ha, this guy again.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, you don't want to come off as weak and feeble. Dude, you already did. You
Yeah.
already did by electing the guy.
Right. Right.
That's it. Like, there's no hiding from that.
Yeah.
He is weak and feeble and has been weak and feeble. And then it's also insulting to leaders of other countries who don't realize that if he's on his ass, the fucking again, like the postmaster general is now ninth in line. Like there is a fucking plan here,
Right. Right.
and like it's not just like oh well, the president's on his ass, so it's like everyone's just going to invade.
Yeah.
It's like it doesn't just work in ones and twos here. Like,
Yeah.
or I guess Morse code's what zeros and ones. Like it's not just that.
Yeah.
So that's the shit that pisses me off when it's like they can't even just say like, yeah, he's in the hospital
Right.
dealing with like even if they just go he's currently in the hospital dealing with a medical emergency, that would be good enough for me.
Yeah. And
Because
then,
then all the idiots can speculate like they do now.
right, they would probably have to invoke the 25th Amendment, right? And Kamala would become president. Um, but so to me, that's why me personally, at this point, I don't think he's dead. Right. I know I sent the text to our group chat between me, you, Vinny, and Jones the other day, but now we're 48 hours removed from that letter, over
Dude,
48 hours,
he's
right? It
not
came out
dead.
like midday Sunday. If he was dead, right, they would have to have Kamala in. They would have had to sworn her in as president,
And
right?
so ultimately, now this is the part that I'm not sure of. Ultimately, they want her as president.
Some people do, allegedly.
Well, that's
There's
so
some more
behind the scenes
there's some
stuff.
more conspiracies about that too. That
Well, either way,
Joe
so it like
Biden putting out in his statement that he supports Kamala apparently was a big fuck you to Obama because Obama wanted someone else to run. There's a lot of like weird stories that are coming out that like there's been infighting behind the scenes lately because Obama was the one that was pressuring Biden to not run for reelection in the first place. So like Biden saying he puts all of his support behind Kamala is like throwing a middle finger at Obama, being like, "Oh, you wanted me to drop out of the race? Here I am. I'm dropping out, but I'm going to support a candidate that you didn't want." Right, because he wanted to support whoever, right, whether it was Newsom or Gretchen Whitmer or whoever the fuck it is, right?
these people are fucking retarded.
Yeah,
I can't believe there are people whose identity revolves around this shit.
yeah, it's kind of wild.
And then there's people who analyze this stuff. You're just a fucking idiot. Like you may as well be fucking taking fifth graders and their finger paintings and fucking analyzing them for their like artistic value.
Yeah, yeah,
This is fucking stupid.
yeah.
Absolutely fucking stupid. Um,
Because then obviously I know we talked a little bit on Sunday, but there was also rumors that Hillary wanted to throw her hat back in the ring. So I think there was a little bit of a rift between Obama and Hillary because Hillary was like, "Oh, I'll just run," and he was like, "No, the fuck you won't. You already lost." Right?
so then theoretically you should have motivation from one side or the other, right? Because if the Democrats want Harris as their guy next time, then they would want to get her in. And then if they don't want that to happen, well, someone on the Republican side knows that because there's no
Right,
fucking secrets, right?
right,
So then they would be making sure, be like, if that dude's dead, everyone's gonna know about it from
right,
like coming from the Republican side. So then you got to put Harris in, and then it's gonna be that much more difficult to get her through the DNC.
right.
So that's why I don't think he's dead because someone would have fucking spilled the beans by now.
Yeah, you got to imagine, right? Like
Someone, somehow, like a cop, a security detail,
all the
somebody,
members of the Secret Service, right,
someone.
that go in and out of the White House that have to
Because
go
remember,
near him,
and someone
like,
has to suck at their job. So
right, right. Yeah. So,
yeah,
where is
I'm
he and
not,
how is his condition? I have no idea, right?
I
I
don't know,
have
and I
no
don't
clue.
care
But
either.
I don't think he's dead.
And that's the thing. It's like it kind of doesn't matter. People go, of course it matters. No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Stop. It
Yeah.
really doesn't. And you'll never convince me otherwise. So again, one makes me fucking a hard-headed loser, but the other thing too, like I'm just like, dude, it doesn't matter
Yeah.
because the way the government's structured, one guy can't do whatever they want whenever they want.
Right. Right.
So if the one dude's out, the system still runs. Like
Yeah.
whatever.
They just replaced that dude with the vice president.
Yeah, and
Like
it's like again,
that's
if he's on his ass like in hospice, whatever, or like even if he's like in like long-term care, but they expect him to make a full recovery, it's like okay, someone still will do the job. They don't
right.
do shit anyway.
Right.
They actually, hey, if he's not around and he can't fucking put his Herbie Hancock on something, maybe it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Plus, aren't they all about to go on vacation soon? Like, isn't it? Isn't that like August?
Uh I thought the recess was around July, but
Well, it is July. Doesn't sound like anybody's on vacation.
yeah. Well, it's because they might have got called back from vacation because of the fucking Trump assassination attempt. Because they're all in hearings and shit now too. Like my entire Twitter feed is polluted with clips from all kinds of hearings with people, which the director of the Secret Service resigned finally.
Yep.
So as she should have, right? Like, hey man, like listen.
You know what? And it's like another thing too. It's like there's so many insufferable assholes that like, and I think this goes back to like the last 4 years where like people can work from home, whatever. It just gives them like that much more time to be stupid.
Yeah,
Because now it's like, so the woman resigned. Now, from the surface, it sounds like someone was incompetent. Don't know who, don't know where,
right.
but she's in charge. So you fall on the sword. Someone was incompetent somewhere. So someone either didn't do their job, didn't communicate the right way. We went through that whole fucking thing.
Yep.
But then people go, well, she's resigning. So obviously she did it. It's like, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
what do you mean? Like she did it. Like she pulled the trigger. She called the guy. She hired the hit. Like,
Right. Right.
what's wrong with you people? I mean,
Yeah,
a lot,
to
but
put it into sports terms, to make it a lot more relatable. This is kind of like one of those scenarios where you have a team that
like the beer and
underperforms.
chicken team.
Yeah, well, so I'm thinking even in like football terms, right? So you have a team going into the year that has really high expectations, right? And the team underperforms. Look, let's look at the Dallas Cowboys, right? Like a couple of years ago, going into
Or
one of
every
the
year.
seasons, yeah, or every year really, but a couple of years ago they went into the season, they were like, wow, they're one of the top Super Bowl favorites, they could really pull it off, whatever, Mike McCarthy, yada yada yada, cool. They didn't play very well that year, and Jerry Jones, as the owner and the GM and the president of the team, had a decision to make. He goes, yeah, and the way you look at the season, right? When you underperform as badly as they did that year, I don't even know if they made the playoffs. Um, you have a decision to make, and you kind of look at it like, hey, man, I know this wasn't one person's fault, but somebody has to lose their job. So what do? They fired Kellen Moore, the offensive coordinator, right? So it's like one of those things where, like, I understand that the reason why the team sucked and didn't make the playoffs wasn't 100% entirely Kellen Moore's fault, but somebody kind of has to lose their job in this situation. And like, I don't want to fire the head coach. So I'll just fire the offensive coordinator, right? It happens all the time in sports, all the fucking time. That's why I use football because,
College too.
yeah, right. Because there's so many different coaching positions. And because offensive and defensive coordinator are held in pretty high regard, right? Like the bench coach on an NHL hockey team, like no one gives a shit who the bench coach is, right? Like it's the
Yeah,
head coach.
Joe Sacco's not losing his job because the Bruins underperformed.
Exactly. Right. But like there's a very real possibility that any NFL team that goes into a season that has high expectations, they underperform. So what do? They fire one of the coordinators, right? And then they start over there. They don't necessarily want to fire the head coach, so they just get rid of one of the coordinators and go, here we go. Someone lost their job. I know it's not their fault, but this is what it is. That's basically what happened with the Secret Service, right? Like we all know, at least we should know, right? Again, level headed people. It's not that woman's fault, right? Like she's not the one that's responsible for, actually make it like going to every spot or whatever and doing the physical checks herself, right? But it is her responsibility to make sure all the people underneath her do their job, right? And someone didn't do their job, or multiple
Yeah, well,
people
and
didn't.
ultimately too, when a former president gets shot, someone has to get fired.
Right. So someone needs to get fired, right? It's kind of it's that situation. Like, listen, man, someone has to lose their job, and you drew the short straw.
Yeah, and if you resign, you get to keep your bennies. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. So that's kind of,
yeah, the logical leaps that we're just skipping over, though, with that too. It's like, up, see, obviously the CIA did it. It's like, what the fuck? How the
yeah.
fuck do you people draw these conclusions?
Obviously, she was complicit.
Right, obviously.
Yeah. Nope. She was probably just really bad at her job.
Yeah, someone sucks.
The one thing that was absolutely fucking
Don't
hilarious,
know.
though, I forget the congressman's name, but I saw a video where he was grilling this woman, and at the very end, like the whole time, he was just ripping her, being like, "You've lied, you're lying, you're not telling the truth, you're obfuscating, you're doing all this, whatever." So at the very end, they say like whatever they say. She says something, and he goes, "Yeah, you know what? You should just go back to protecting Doritos."
Was that like a thing?
Because so before she was the director of the Secret Service, she was the head of security at Pepsi, like global security.
I was gonna say, like, you got to work on the delivery a little bit, but
Yeah.
that's a pretty good insult that you almost like can't come back from.
Yeah, that was and coming from a sitting congressman too. Like you
Yeah.
should probably just go back to protecting Doritos.
Yeah. Again, I think you can work on your delivery a little bit, but yeah, I mean that's a pretty good insult. I like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. So also just like for shits and giggles, when everything was going on, I texted Vinny and I was like, "Hey, what's up with your girl? Like, what's her deal?" And hey, let me see if I can pull up what he sent back. Um, he goes, oh, I don't know. I'm scrolling back
Yeah,
too
don't
far.
worry. Yeah.
But he said something along the lines of like, "Oh yeah, you mean the woman that presided over um Pepsi getting hacked and losing all of our information. And for 2 months, like my identity was like up for grabs or something like that." And I was like, "Oh, okay. That's something that people don't talk about." I feel like someone probably should have vetted her a little bit better before they made her the director of the Secret Service.
Well, that would imply that there was a vetting process and they weren't just like, pick your favorite, here's your job.
Yeah.
Or it's like, I don't actually know who you are, but check a box.
Yeah. So yeah, Vinny was pretty good about that one. So yeah, I mean, we have no idea what's going on with the president of the United States, right? I think it's again, it's weird, right? You can't sit here and say it's not weird. If you do, you're fucking psycho. But it's just like I just kind of want to know like what's the reasoning, right? Like I always go back to something that Dan Holloway always says is cui bono, right? Like the Latin phrase that means who benefits, right? Like who benefits from this current situation, right? And by that I mean leaving it like clouded, right? Like who benefits from leaving the public, right, the entire American population in the dark? Like I truthfully I have no idea.
Well, that's because I don't think we know who the people are. It's the people behind the scenes. Like it's the Wizard of Oz, right?
Yeah, yeah. But like what benefit I mean even in a hypothetical scenario, right? Like of that person, right? The man or the men and women behind the curtain, right? The collective Wizard of Oz. How do they benefit from this, right? That's what I don't understand. How like what benefit is it to them to not loop in the American people about the status of the president, right? Like that's just what I don't understand.
Well, the big one that stands out to me, because if you actually take your same argument and use the transverse property or whatever, it's just redistribute all the the the
Yeah, carry
the,
the
the
two.
variables, move X to the other
Yeah,
side. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Well, if he does go down, who benefits?
right.
And it's
And
easy.
that's
It's
easy.
it's
That's
Kamala
Kamala.
Harris.
Right, right.
So if she's the one to benefit,
And it's also the quote unquote deep state, right? Because they
well,
have their finger on her.
well, only we can get to that.
Yeah,
But and this is a little bit of a stretch. I think Leo has given us some answers. I don't know if you can hear him.
No, I can't hear him.
Okay. Uh, One could surmise if the Quinnipiac poll that came out today was representative of the whole country, then Donald Trump and the Republicans would be to benefit.
Right,
Because if that poll was representative of the whole country, it's going to not be fucking pretty.
right,
Now, luckily for the voters, it's one poll. It's not representative of the whole country.
right.
But that's sort of like that would be speculation because I'm trying to think like because if I'm speculating on who would benefit, well, theoretically, if Harris isn't a good candidate, then the Republicans win.
Right.
Now, based on favorability, based on her appearances, based on all the bullshit, like, I mean, I would seem to lean that way, right?
Yeah.
So then, if you go back to who benefits from not informing anybody, well, they're just kind of like delaying the inevitable. Now, I don't know how long they can delay that for, but if they can just get to the RNC, well, then they can put their person in.
Right.
So there's a theory on who would. Now, I don't know who that is, and I don't know who's behind the scenes. Like, sure, it's like fucking Bill Gates and friends, but
Yeah.
um, yeah, I mean that's like kind of all I can think of.
The only real thing I can think of, and this is insane conspiracy theory, is they're purposely not doing anything because they don't want Kamala, right? Whatever factions behind the scene, whether it's Obama and or Bill Gates and friends, or the Wizard of Oz, right? They don't want her. So
Right,
what they're
and if
so
she
what they're
gets
doing,
in,
if she gets sworn in as a president now, they're
it's
going
going
to
to be
have a
really
very
difficult.
difficult time at the DNC to run a different candidate.
Right.
So if they're keeping everyone in the dark until the DNC, what they can do is announce their candidate, and then magically 4 days after the DNC, oh, we regret to inform you our consequential president has passed away, right? As a result, we have moved new President Kamala Harris into her new position. At this time, because the DNC already happened and we already
Yeah.
announced it's going to be Mitt Romney, right, as our candidate, we can't go back now. So thanks, Kamala, for your next, 3 months of service. And 2 of that will be as a lame duck right after the president elect is chosen in November. So from
Well, the
November
whole
to
thing was, yeah, I would say, don't worry,
right,
the whole thing's a lame duck
right, but the
because,
traditional lame duck
yeah,
period is between November to January. So yeah, so you'll have from August to November to be the president, right? And then after November, you're the quote unquote lame duck, right? So thank you for your service. Thanks for being the first female president. Um, but yeah, we're running with Mitt Romney now.
that'd be a hell of a heel turn too, huh?
Yeah, which is a theory that I heard the other day.
Yeah, but wasn't
That
that from wasn't that from the writer of a TV show?
no, so this was Dan Holloway again,
Oh,
who
because I was gonna say the shit. I forget what the show is,
yeah,
but
so
like
they deleted that. Aaron Sorkin, I heard that.
yeah,
I don't
who
know
is
who
that?
He is a writer. I don't know what shows
I don't know
he
what
wrote
show it
on.
was, but he wrote on like a TV drama show. But then
Yeah,
he wrote that like Mitt Romney was gonna be the guy, and I'm
he
like,
wrote that Mitt Romney should be the candidate for the Democrats, and then he deleted the article. The article disappeared. Well, he didn't. Whoever the
okay,
publication did, the
now
article
work
disappeared.
now work with me here, right?
Right.
So this dude is a writer on TV shows, writer for a network.
Right.
Who gives a fuck what he thinks
Right.
and whatever. Now, that's part one of my argument. Now, part two of my argument is the idiots will want to hear from him. Like,
Right.
oh, this guy, it was West Wing. That's what it was. It was West Wing. It's like, dude, this guy wrote about presidents before.
Yeah, he's a phenomenal writer, actually. He wrote He was writer, creator, and showrunner for The West Wing, The Newsroom. Um, he wrote the play for A Few Good Men, which was then adapted into a movie, obviously. To Kill a Mockingbird. He didn't write it, but he wrote the screenplay.
Yeah.
Um,
So, and that's fine.
Charlie Wilson's War, Moneyball, Steve Jobs.
like the dude's still a good writer. That's fine.
Yeah.
But like, even though he writes an article about like what he thinks, it's like, dude, that would be like John Henry coming out and being like, well, actually, I think we should dig up John McCain and go with him.
Yeah. Yeah.
And because it's just as useless. But then someone was probably like, dude, we're taking that shit down. That shit's going to run because these people have half a brain cell and they're going to be like, oh, yeah, yeah, let's go with him.
Yeah.
Now, on the tinfoil hat side of things, they could be like, yeah, we're going to take that down because you're letting the cat out of the bag.
Right. So again, this is what I got from Dan Holloway on the one of the Drinking Bros podcasts was that he claimed that he found some inside info that confirmed the DNC was going to interview Mitt Romney at some point before the DNC. So it's not that they were actually going to name him the candidate, but they were going to sit down with him and interview him about being the candidate.
Yeah, I mean, why not?
Yeah.
Especially if he's a guy that kind of like toes the line anyway.
Yeah. So you want to talk about complete, like a Barry Zito curveball,
12-6.
the complete 12-6, like the that's how you beat Donald Trump. I truly think that if Mitt Romney is the Democratic candidate for president, he wins. I think he beats Trump.
I think I would agree with you because he's more of a moderate,
Yeah.
which means any sensible people will be like, yep, good enough for me.
Yep. Because I think you said this in the last episode. The people that decide the election are the people in the middle, right? Because all the people
The
all the way on
10%
the
on
right,
either end
the people all
don't.
the way on the right are going to vote red, whoever it is, right? And the people on the left are going to vote blue, no matter who. They made it their fucking slogan, right? What decides the race is the people in the middle. The
Yeah, and the
people in the
people that could be
middle,
swayed either way,
right?
like
The
they
people in the
they
middle are the ones that said, wow, Hillary Clinton really is a terrible human being.
yep, I'm out.
I'm gonna vote for Donald Trump, right? Which was the same people 4 years later that said, wow, Trump is really kind of fucking loose cannon.
I'm
I'm
out.
gonna vote for this other guy, Joe Biden, right? Which are the same people leading into this election being like, Joe Biden is a fucking vegetable. I'm gonna vote for Donald Trump.
Right.
Those are the same people that will sit there and say, yeah, now that I don't have a choice between a loose cannon and a vegetable, I'm gonna go with a guy that's like kind of like moderate,
Yeah.
and I think he wins.
Especially if he rolls up there and actually like kind of conducts himself like he did. I don't know when he ran. Did he run in when did Obama? Did he run oh no, he must have ran 12
Yeah, he was the Republican candidate in 12
against
because
Obama.
McCain
Was
lost to
08.
Obama in 08. So
Yeah, so it
then
must have been
Romney
12.
lost in 12.
And it's like, you know, traditional presidential candidate.
Yeah,
Just get up there like that.
yeah.
And what's Trump going to do? Call you a Mormon? Like, just stay the course.
Yeah. Yeah, you got a guy who's a former Republican, now a Democrat. That is going to appeal to a lot of people. A lot of people are going to say, this guy's probably right down the middle. Used to be a Republican, now he's a Democrat. Oh, he lives on both sides.
Well, never mind. It's
That's
like all,
reasonable.
well, never mind. Yeah, it's like all we've had is like polarizing people for three straight elections.
Yeah,
Two straight elections, sorry.
right,
And I guess the lead up to this one, but
right.
Yeah, a lot of people will be like, "Dude, just give me some, like, just give me a fucking like regular person.
Yeah.
Let's go, let's throw it back.
Yeah. Just give me fucking George
Give me
Bush, right?
normal, dude.
Like, just
Just
give me G-dubs, like the guy, the dumbass who's on the golf course, right? Oh, wait till you see what we're gonna do in Afghanistan, and then just pipes a drive down a fairway, right? Like that's like just give me that guy again, right? Like a lot of people are like, I guarantee you, a lot of people feel like that. They're just sick and tired of the constant like politics. I mean, we've talked about this for years now. Why can't we just go back to the time where no one gives a shit about politics? Right? Like in the 90s and the
well, that's the thing.
2000s, no
Like
one gave a shit about politics. No one cared until
people
Trump.
always, well,
Trump broke the system and he broke
what's
everyone's brain.
yes, and he made people like so like dead set on like my team or my guy or whatever. And it's like it was probably nice to break the trend of just like, career politician after career politician after career politician, but maybe too much of a good thing swung the pendulum too far.
Yeah.
Because now it's like, yeah, just give me the moderate guy, please.
So the interesting there too with him is he is going to pull both sides, right? Like obviously states like New York, Massachusetts, California are going to go for him, right? But a state that normally is red like Utah probably going to go for Romney, right? Because he's from
Yeah,
there.
does Utah move? Do they ever move?
Uh I don't know.
Actually,
I actually don't know.
actually, I'll tell you right now. You keep talking. I'll just look up what happened in 2012 in Utah because
Yeah.
if they didn't swing for that,
Yeah.
they ain't
Um
swinging for shit. Of course, my phone's gonna take forever now. I just wanted to Google something real
yeah.
quick.
Well, so the weird thing is he was a Republican in 2012. So,
Oh, that's right. That doesn't apply anymore.
right, right. But
Yeah,
somewhere
that's
like
that's
Utah
problematic.
and like Arizona is very purple. Um, that might swing for Romney, right? I mean, Utah also only has 6 electoral votes, so like, I know it's not the end of the world there, but um, yeah, it could be interesting. I think he wins. I think he is probably the only candidate that they can roll out with 90 days to the election, right? That would be Trump. Again, outside of like something else that's outlandish, like The Rock, right? Like, because I know
Yeah, but even then,
they were talking about trying to get The Rock to run, 4 years ago, or like Oprah. You know what I mean? Like something outside of something completely outlandish, like a celebrity coming in. Um, I think he's the only guy that they can throw out there with 90 days to go that would actually beat Trump. Like if I had to put my money on it, right? If you gave me odds, maybe it's not fair. Maybe you go minus 120 odds either way, right? Like give me the bad juice. I would put my money on Romney, right? At even odds, even minus 120 either way.
yeah, I mean, it's an interesting development.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll do it because I don't know if he will. Because like in order for him to obviously switch, he would also have to play by their rules, and I just don't think that's how that dude's wired. Also, if you're him, it's like the same thing. It's like the candidate for like a football job because we'll go back to football, right? And
Because sports.
they're like, okay, you're the biggest like the biggest job opening ever. We
Yeah.
want you.
Yeah. Nick Saban just retired.
Yep. So we want you.
Yeah.
Great. I'm coming. Great. But you're gonna do everything we tell you. No. You said you want me.
Right.
So now you get me,
Right.
or I'll just stay over here. Well, no, 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 no. We want you. Good. Then tell all those fucking donors and the man behind the curtain and fucking all them, don't fucking call me. Lose my number.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know anything about him and his conviction, and I don't know how morally flexible he is.
I guess it depends on how much money's involved, right? Everyone has a number.
Yeah. Right. Like there's certain people, right? Like a Trump and a Bernie, right? And a Tulsi, right? And RFK Jr., right? There's certain people that I can sit here confidently and say that applies to, right? Like what you just laid out. Like if you want me, you're gonna get me. I'm not gonna bend my fucking morals or thoughts because you're electing me. Like if you're gonna put me out there, you're gonna get me, right?
Yeah, you can go
I
find some
can't
he, him over there that
I
it can
can't say
fucking
that about
trust.
Romney. I don't know enough about him, right? Like I don't know if he's got balls, right?
I
But
just
I
figure,
know Bernie and Tulsi and RFK and Trump have balls.
so I don't know that he does or doesn't. I look at it from I don't even know if competitive standpoint is the right word. It might not be competitive standpoint. I'm just looking at it like, okay, so you guys need someone because you guys are in a mess right now.
Right,
Because like clearly you don't want the easy answer. So there's
right.
something wrong there, and your guy's dead. So like you're asking me to flip parties
Yeah,
to come do your bullshit. I'll do it, but it's on my terms. Or like,
yeah,
hey, we'll talk, but like I'm not just dance monkey dance.
right. Yeah, I'm not just gonna roll over and do what you tell me.
Yeah. Because again, like, why would you flip parties for that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, even when he was a Republican, like he was the quintessential quote unquote Massachusetts Republican, right?
Yeah.
Like he was the governor of Massachusetts for 8 years as a Republican, right? Like that he instituted Romney care, right? Like Obamacare before Obamacare was done in this state by a Republican governor. Like he's the one that instituted that. So like again, he fits the bill as a Massachusetts Republican.
I also don't think again, I wasn't paying attention in 2012. I don't think people disliked him. It's just he was running against Obama. Like he wasn't going to win that.
Right. Right. Yeah,
I
because
don't
he's
know.
boring. He's
Fine.
he's
Fine.
fucking Xander Schauffele,
Thank
right?
you.
Like Mitt Romney is Xander Schauffele.
It's the year of fucking mid necks.
Because he's just
Next thing you, Finau's gonna win. He's not even in the Olympics. Let's say Finau's
yeah.
gonna win Olympic gold now. Couldn't be any less interesting.
I'll tell you what, if Finau wins again this weekend, watch out, because then you know it's the year of the Borings and the Mormons. That could
Yeah,
be a sign.
could be.
Or just it's just a sign that we actually are living in a simulation and the whole world is fake.
Yeah, and the simulators aren't trying anymore.
The simulator had to run to the bathroom, so they just like left it on like
Yeah,
autopilot. They just like stopped playing.
they simmed it.
Yeah. They put it on auto sim. Like, yeah, we'll skip through a couple decades. We'll see what happens. We want a challenge. Let's sim the next 3 decades and see how bad they dig themselves in a hole.
So bad.
Yeah. So I don't know if we even have anything else going on. There was something I saw earlier. I forget what it was. Oh, real quick before we wrap this up, I think this was funny. Um, if for some reason this went viral, but the the son of Billy Mays, um, the OxyClean guy from back in the day that did a lot of cocaine, and died of a
Allegedly.
heart attack. It's
Allegedly.
like, yeah. No, I think he might have actually had cocaine in his system if they did an autopsy. Um,
Sounds like slander.
yeah, I know, right? Let me Google that and make sure.
He's also been dead for a long time,
He
dude.
died in 2009.
Yeah, that seems like a long time ago.
Yeah, that was a long time. Oh, yep. Okay. So here we go. After initial autopsy on June 29th, 2009, Vernon Adams, the Hillsborough County, Florida medical examiner, stated that Mays suffered from hypertensive heart disease and that heart disease was likely the cause of his death. According to a toxicology report that was released on August 7th, heart disease was listed as the primary cause of death, and cocaine was noted as a contributory cause of death. So he had cocaine in his system when he died, but he had a heart condition. So those two things don't go together.
Just put him over the top.
Yeah. So yeah, so Billy Mays, right? His son posted a video, not a video, a picture of his headstone, right? And on his headstone it says Billy Mays, whatever, and it has a picture of Billy Mays with giving a thumbs up in his trademark like blue collared shirt. And somebody, some random person, happened to be in that cemetery apparently, and they placed a bottle of OxyClean on his headstone. And his son just took a picture of it, posted it on the internet, and it absolutely exploded and went viral. Right? Like the caption was LOL, just got to Pittsburgh and someone left OxyClean on my dad's grave. And then everyone was like, "Oh my god, it's Billy Mays, the OxyClean, like this and that." Being like, everyone just started going nuts, and then like retweeting it or posting it, being like all this random shit. And it's like, okay, all right. Like, as much as I want to stand here and say like that's fucking retarded, a little bit of me is like maybe the world is healing a little bit. That like this is what like I can get behind this as news instead of like, is the president dead? And was there an actual attempted assassination by like, you know, a clandestine agency on a former president in the United States, right? Like, I, I can deal with less of that and give me more like a picture of Billy Mays' grave going viral because someone put a bottle of OxyClean on it. Like that's what I can get behind.
Yep, I can work with that.
Which is just
Say
kind
again.
of like a sad state of where things are now.
Yeah, well, again, everything's just a fucking cesspool.
Yeah. All right. Well, that being said, you want to wrap this up?
Yep. Had the I officially feel old moment today. I
Nice.
forget what song, it doesn't matter what song, but I was looking up a song because kids were asking me about it, whatever. Looked up a song, came out in 2001. Now, obviously, it would make more sense if like I did remember which song, because you'd be like, oh yeah, and like of course, like obviously I remember that song, whatever.
Yeah.
Look around, I go, were any of you even alive in 2001? Nope.
Nope.
Even the college kid.
Yeah.
Nope. Because to be born in 2001, you'd have to be 23 out of school.
There are this is gonna fuck it. This is gonna fuck with you a little bit right now. There are people that weren't born in 2001 that have children right now.
There are people that had children when we were in high school that now probably have a driver's license
Oh
or
yeah.
at least definitely permits.
Yeah.
Might be too soon. Might not be 6 months from.
Yeah.
No, because he would have had to been born in January. Or for me.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah. Yeah, cuz right, so someone born in 2002, would be 22 years old. People have
Yep.
kids at 20, 17, 16, right? Like you just said, we went to high school with a bunch of people that had kids in high school, right?
Uh-huh.
There are people that were not born yet in 2001 that now have children.
Yep.
That's kind of fucking nuts.
Well, even there was someone was in the gym and they were like they said something because we have a girl that's like 10 turning 11 and said something like they were like talking about age and then like put like we like me and this person into the same category. Go, you do know you're a lot closer to that 10-year-old than you are to me, right? I go, I'm 14 years older than you. You're only 10 years older than her. And then it hit it's like, fuck. Like, yeah, it's weird. It's weird how math works sometimes.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you think that it wouldn't be the case, but like
Yeah, like you think
no,
like a college kid's closer to me, and it's like, no,
no, no.
you're closer to a third grader than you are to
Yeah.
me at this point.
And it's kind of also just a reinforced too that college kids are still children, right? Like a
Yeah,
20-year-old is still a child.
yeah, sure are.
Yeah. Like you have no fucking idea of
No
anything.
clue. No clue.
No. I would say that probably never that feel I don't think that feeling ever really goes away. I feel like I feel like someone you can talk to someone who's like 60 and be like, yeah, I feel like I didn't really have shit figured out till I was like in my 50s. Right. And then like I feel like no matter who you talk to, people can say, like, if you talk to a 70-year-old, right, and they're like, oh, you're 34. Oh, you're just a lad. You're just a baby. Right. And it's like, yeah, I mean, I guess like
Well,
in the
it
grand
ends up
scheme,
all being perspective a little bit. Like a 7-year-old may have retired 5 years ago, so they retired. Then they figured out how to like post retirement goes. They're like, I'm still trying to figure my shit out right now.
right.
And so, what do you mean you're still trying to figure your shit out? Because each stage generally has
Yeah.
something.
Yeah. That's really funny you say that because I played golf with a guy last night he's 62 and he's like semi-retired. He works as a consultant now. So he just gets gigs that are like 6 months at a time. Right. So he's like, yeah, I work here and there. I mean, he gave me his whole life story. He was a nice enough guy, but he has an adult son that has autism. So he's like, now that I retired, I do a lot more volunteer work. So I volunteer at the place where he goes to, whatever. He's going like this. And then he's like, some company would come to me and say, hey, I need you for 6 months because he does marketing and like communications. So they're like, hey, we're doing this thing. Can you handle our communications for the next 9 months? Right. And he's like, yeah, sure. Like, so he's like semi-retired. But it's funny you say that because he said to me, like, yeah, I'm kind of trying to figure it out, right? He's like, I really like not working every day. She's like, I don't think I would ever look for something full time ever again. But like, I like having free time to do what I want, but I also like having money. So he's like, it's funny because he's 62 years old and he's like trying to figure out what he wants to do.
Oh, it is.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you're fucking retarded when you're 20.
I'm retarded now.
Yeah. Same. So, I mean, I didn't feel like an adult probably until I was like 27.
Well, that's funny because we bought a house the next year, and I would argue we were not adults.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. Yeah. I mean, there's certainly some aspects, right, where like even now I don't feel like an adult, but I mean like in general, right? Like I didn't feel like I really kind of had any idea of like anything that was going on or like even what I wanted to do, like where like anything like that until I was about 27. It took me probably until 25 to like stop being in like this stupid college kid mindset, right? To be like, oh
Well,
shit, I should probably like, care a little bit more about certain things that I didn't give a shit about before.
well, the funniest thing about that too is it's like, oh yeah, I just didn't really figure it out till I was like 25, 27, maybe older. And it's like, it's funny because someone who went into a trade is like, they're probably not a master yet,
But they're probably
but
pretty
like,
close.
they're pretty fucking close.
Yeah. Yeah. If you figure you got to do 10 years or
Yeah, I
whatever,
don't know.
and
I don't know
you
what I don't. I
started,
do. Let's see, top of my head, I don't know what it takes, but like, it might be like 10 years of paying into the union and
right.
accomplishing X and doing whatever coursework and
But if you started as an apprentice at
at
17 or
18.
18, like
Yeah,
you're
27 is,
10
yeah,
years
I'll
is
be
27,
I'll be a
28.
master plumber next year.
Yeah. Yeah. Making $150 an hour.
Yeah.
Oh, I only do new construction. I
Yeah.
don't do current,
I only do commercial. I only
yeah.
do multi-million dollar job. Yeah, you just
Yeah.
decide.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, oh, can you do residential? No.
Yeah. Nah. It's not worth it for me.
Yeah, no. Like why? Because you can pay someone $150 to unclog that toilet. I'm gonna charge you 500 just because I don't want to do it.
So, yeah. So my final thought is I was sitting in traffic coming home from Boston last week. Why was I there? Oh, I had a stupid networking event after work last Thursday. Um, so I'm coming home and I'm leaving like downtown Boston. So like when I say traffic, I mean like I actually don't remember now if this is when I was leaving or when I was going over there. Who the fuck knows? It doesn't matter. But I was sitting somewhere and there was a cop like directing traffic, and I saw for the first time in real life a Tesla Cybertruck.
They're just as
And
bad as the pictures.
yeah, yeah, it's really fucking weird looking. It's so strange.
Yeah. But
And
it's
it's
like
what
it's not even like Hummer strange.
no, it's like fake. Like yeah, I stared at it the entire time because I was like, is that real? Like, what is
Well, that's
that?
why it's like I choose to believe that raccoons are trying to break into them thinking they're dumpsters, even though it's a very preposterous thing. But I choose to believe that.
Yeah, like it looks like I'm sure I'm not the first person to say this, but it looks like the tank from Halo, except the tank from
What?
Halo is like open air and I think it has three axles instead of two.
I
But
did
like it
not.
has like the same vibe as like the fucking truck from Halo. Yeah, it's just kind of strange, right? Because like I said, I've seen pictures, obviously, right? But I've never seen one in the wild, like in person. And then I finally saw one in downtown Boston, which is also kind of weird when you think about it. Like why? And I mean, I'm sure it's someone that commutes and drives in there too, right? Like
Oh,
is
the
someone?
warthog.
Yeah, yeah, the
Yeah,
warthog.
okay.
Yeah,
I was gonna say because it doesn't look like a tank at all.
no, 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 no.
The warthog. Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
a reverse warthog.
it is. Yeah. Um, But yeah, I mean, I was gonna say it's weird to see one of those in downtown Boston, but that's kind of a dumb take. Like someone could easily turn around and be like, "Oh, it's weird to see a Toyota Tacoma in downtown Boston. Like, why would you have that thing in the city?" Um, because you easily just couldn't like not live there. But yeah, it was just kind of interesting. Figured I'd bring it up, and
Yep.
it's fake. It looks fake.
Yeah, I've seen a few of them. They're something.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they're cool because Tesla does that, right? Like they put all kinds of crazy, wild shit in their cars. So I'm sure it's a really cool experience to like drive and like sit in it and like do the whole thing. But like, I don't know, dude, it looks like shit.
Yeah. That's
It looks like it was designed by a 7-year-old.
or the guy from Halo, but
Yeah, or the guy from Halo.
yeah, I'm also like it's one of those things though. It's like most people think they look like shit, and then the people that don't be like, no, looks awesome, looks great.
Yeah.
Okay, this is useless.
Yeah. And it's one of those things too where like those aren't necessarily mutually exclusive, right? Like you can say it looks like shit, but then like I said, like I'm sure it drives really cool. It has a lot of bells and whistles inside because that's the Tesla like claim to fame, right? Like it's an experience more than it is a car, right? So that's what I mean. I'm sure it's awesome to drive, but it looks fucking stupid.
Yeah, it's they're awful.
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't care how cool they are to drive. They look awful.
So so yeah, that's it. That's going to do it for us. Thank you for watching. If you're on YouTube, don't forget to click subscribe up above, hit the thumbs up down below. Subscribe if you're an audio only guy as well. Leave us 5 stars on iTunes and Spotify so we can set the hostage free on the screen. Um, you can get us on Instagram at Sarcasm Speaks Pod, Twitter is Sarcasm_speaks, Facebook page is Sarcasm Speaks, website is sarcasmspeaks.com. Check out the show notes below, support the sponsors, follow those links, get your discounts, get some cool products, and support us along the way. And until next time, good night, everybody.